Hi there, my name is Lauren Portingen. I work for Horizon in the Community Services Department, and today I am joined by.
Hi, I'm Amy Van Coonen, and I'm a child and family therapist in the counseling department.
Yeah, thanks for joining me today, Amy. So today we are bringing to you another tapping video. This one we are going to focus on some of the sadness that we feel. It's pretty common. We've been hearing a lot about it these days that we feel this sadness that things look different. Summer's quickly coming to an end, and this is not at all the summer we may have anticipated or hoped for. And so there's this bit of sadness that people feel about things changing or looking different, and we're missing the things that we potentially would have been doing or experiencing, and it's just sometimes sad, and we want to acknowledge that sadness and yeah, and just feel okay and justified in that sadness, because it is a real feeling that we have and totally justifiable given the state of the world right now. But before we get started, I just wanted to point you towards the tapping, the introduction video that we have. If this is your first video that you've watched with us, welcome. But it would be our suggestion that you watch that introductory video first. It just gives you a great outline of what tapping is, what to expect in these videos. And then you're welcome to rejoin us after you take a look at that. But yeah, I guess we can jump in now. And so the first thing we want you to do, as always, is just to take stock of your body. It's really important to kind of gauge where we're at coming into tapping. It helps us to set a baseline to see if tapping's working, when we feel more at peace. And so just take stock of your body. If you want to take a couple deep breaths in, some people like to move their body around as a way to just become more aware of what they feel. You might want to think about if there's a certain spot in your body that you feel that sadness more strongly. If it has, some people feel things and they can identify it has a color or a texture. For me, something that works really well is just scaling it on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being, the biggest sadness I've ever felt, and 0 being nothing at all. And so just a way to identify what that feels like for you. And then we'll get started. Okay. Even though
I
have this sadness,
I have this sadness,
some days it feels really big.
some days it feels really big.
This is not where I anticipated I would be.
This is not where I anticipated I would be.
Mm-hmm. Things look very different than what I had planned.
Things look very different than what I had planned.
Mm-hmm. But I still love and accept myself anyway.
But I still love and accept myself anyway.
Mm-hmm. And even though I have this sadness,
and even though I have this sadness,
and it makes sense why I have this sadness.
And it makes sense why I have this sadness.
It's still really uncomfortable.
It's still really uncomfortable.
But I still choose to love and accept myself anyway.
But I still choose to love and accept myself anyway.
Last time, even though I have this sadness.
Even though I have this sadness.
It's pretty intense.
And it's pretty intense.
This summer has looked very different.
This summer has looked very different.
My world looks very different.
My world looks very different.
There's lots of things that I miss.
There's lots of things that I miss.
And so I'm just sad.
And so I'm just sad.
Mm-hmm. But I still know that I'm doing the best I can.
But I still know that I'm doing the best I can.
Mm-hmm. Eyebrow point. This sadness.
This sadness.
Some days it's really big.
Some days it's really big.
It feels pretty uncomfortable.
It feels pretty uncomfortable.
This sadness.
This sadness.
This isn't where I thought I would be.
This isn't where I thought I would be.
The world is very different now.
The world is very different now.
And I'm sad.
And I'm sad.
There's things that I miss.
There's things that I miss.
My usual summer activities.
My usual summer activities.
I miss those.
I miss those.
Freely seeing people that I want to see.
Really seeing people that I want to see.
Not needing to think about whether it's safe.
not needing to think about whether it's safe.
I miss doing that.
I miss doing that.
So I'm sad.
So I'm sad.
I'm sad.
I'm sad.
There are lots of things that I miss
There are lots of things that I miss
that I can't just do.
that I can't just do.
And even if I can do them, I have to think a lot about them.
And even if I can do them, I have to think a lot about them.
So I'm sad.
And so I'm sad.
This sadness,
This sadness,
I really feel it in my body.
I really feel it in my body.
Sometimes it's distracting.
Sometimes it's distracting.
It's hard to feel productive,
It's hard to feel productive,
especially when I feel this sad.
especially when I feel this sad.
This sadness,
This sadness,
sometimes it's overwhelming.
sometimes it's overwhelming.
I really don't like feeling sad.
And I really don't like feeling sad.
Lots of things have changed.
Lots of things have changed.
And I feel sad about that change.
And I feel sad about that change.
And I miss the things that I normally would do.
And I miss the things that I normally would do.
The things that I could be spontaneous in doing.
The things that I could be spontaneous in doing.
I can't just do those things.
I can't just do those things.
That makes me sad.
That makes me sad.
I can't just go and see my people.
Can't just go and see my people.
So I'm sad.
So I'm sad.
This sadness,
This sadness,
it feels pretty big.
feels pretty big.
This sadness.
This sadness.
Sometimes it's really overwhelming.
Sometimes it's really overwhelming.
I'm sad.
I'm sad.
Deep breath in here. Yeah. Sometimes that sadness can be really overwhelming for sure. And so take a second again after doing, I think we did about 6 rounds of tapping there, just to take stock of your body and see how you're feeling now. That number, that color, whatever you use to identify how big or little that sadness feels. Just tune into your body and see where it's sitting right now. If the number is increased, that's okay. Sometimes that happens. It just means you need to keep tapping. And if the number is decreased and you want to keep tapping again on some sadness, please do so. You're welcome to rewind the video at any point and just keep tapping again. So let's do a couple more rounds. Okay, even though I still have this sadness,
Even though I still have this sadness,
I choose to love and accept myself anyway.
I choose to love and accept myself anyway.
And even though I have this sadness,
And even though I have this sadness,
I know it doesn't identify who I am.
I know it doesn't identify who I am.
And I know there's still things I could be grateful for.
And I know there's still things that I can be grateful for.
And so I choose to just love myself regardless.
And so I choose to just love myself regardless.
Last time, even though I still have this sadness,
Even though I still have this sadness,
I know that it's okay to feel joy too.
I know that it's okay to feel joy too.
It's okay to feel both those things.
It's okay to feel both those things.
Even at the same time.
Even at the same time.
And I know I'm doing the best I can.
And I know I'm doing the best I can.
This sadness.
This sadness.
I'm justified in feeling sad.
I'm justified in feeling sad.
It makes sense why I feel sad.
It makes sense why I feel sad.
Look at the world.
Look at the world.
And so maybe it's okay that I feel sad.
Maybe it's okay that I feel sad.
I'm justified in feeling this.
I'm justified in feeling this.
But maybe it's okay to feel joyful.
But maybe it's okay to feel joyful.
Even in the midst of this sadness.
Even in the midst of this sadness.
How confusing.
How confusing.
It's hard to hold both those things.
It's hard to hold both those things.
But I know I can do it.
But I know I can do it.
There's lots to be grateful still.
There's lots to be grateful still.
Lots of things that I'm grateful for.
Lots of things that I'm grateful for.
Lots of people that I'm grateful for.
Lots of people that I'm grateful for.
Maybe I'm even grateful for myself.
Maybe I'm even grateful for myself.
For spending time doing this.
For spending time doing this.
And other things that help me feel whole.
And other things that help me feel whole.
So it's okay that I feel sad.
It's okay that I feel sad.
I'm justified in feeling sad.
I'm justified in feeling sad.
But I know I can choose to see the good.
But I know I can choose to see the good.
Even just a little bit.
Even just a little bit.
And it's okay to feel sad.
It's okay to feel sad.
It's just my body telling me that things are important to me.
It's just my body telling me that things are important to me.
And I can give myself space to feel sad.
And I can give myself space to feel sad.
And when I'm ready, I can give myself space to feel joy.
I can give myself space to feel joy.
And then I can go back to being sad if I want to.
And then I can go back to being sad if I want to.
Because I can hold sadness and joy at the same time.
I can hold sadness and joy at the same time.
Even though it's confusing.
Even though it's confusing.
So I choose to find things to be grateful for.
To find things to be grateful for.
And I choose
to
honor the sadness that I feel.
To honor the sadness that I feel.
Deep breath in, side of your eye. I choose to just be.
I choose to just be.
Under your nose, deep breath here. I choose to just be.
I choose to just be.
Whatever that is right now.
Whatever that is right now.
And I choose to believe.
And I choose to believe.
That all will be well.
That all will be well.
Deep breath in here. Thank you guys for joining us and tapping on this pretty big uncomfortable feeling. Again, if you take stock of your body and you still feel a little bit escalated or elevated, that intensity of that sadness is still a little high, feel free to watch this video again. In the description below, there will also be some contact information for people within Corizon, and we would be happy to connect you with further supports if that's what you feel you would benefit from. Please reach out to us if that's the case. The last thing I just want to quickly point out is that there is a video called Tapping and Breathing. It's exactly as it sounds. We're just tapping and breathing as we move through each point on our face and body. And sometimes that can be a really gentle way just to continue to bring down that intensity of these uncomfortable feelings that we may have. And so please, if you feel like that's something that would be helpful, feel free to watch that as well. Thank you, Amy, for joining me today, and we hope that you guys have a good rest of your day. Take care, everyone.